That window. Get out of the way. Oh, that's a little bit better, maybe. Go. That's a little bit better. That window's rather bright. Well, I hope everybody is thoroughly enjoying this break in the heat wave. It was gloriously chilly this morning. I mean, when I walked out this morning, I couldn't even see my breath. It was that chilly. It was about, if I read the thermometer correctly, it was about 49 degrees. It was wonderful. Loved it. Oh, slept so good last night. Didn't want to climb out of bed. Definitely did not want to climb out of bed this morning because it felt so good. But sometimes we have to do what we don't want to do. Yeah. Oh, I tell you, things have been. Today is not going the way I wanted it to go. I had not planned on doing my live stream up here in my cabin. I had planned on doing it in the barn. Well, it would have been nice, especially with as nice as it is out there right now. It's hot in the sun, of course, but it's not that bad. Not compared to what we've had for the last week. But I tell you, mm, don't mind me. Yeah. So if you hear any outburst, my husband is directly underneath me, and he is watching some kind of a sports thing. And sometimes he can't control himself. So if you hear any outbursts, that's him. So, which is one reason why it would have been nice to do this in the barn. Well, I guess if you watch my channel, there aren't too many people these days that are watching my channel, which I understand. I'm not exactly the most exciting person, and the quality of my videos has um, gone backwards rather than forward. So, not too much I can do about that at this point. But anyway, yeah, so I don't blame people for not watching. But anyway, yeah, so yesterday morning I posted the video. I was weed whacking. Okay. Got the yard looking pretty good. I still have a few things I need to, tidy up and stuff. It's a work in progress. I'm trying to get this place looking better than it has in a while. I mean, this is what you deal with when you live in a construction zone, you know. And I get things cleaned up, and then things get messed up again. I get things cleaned up, things get messed up again. It's like with all the projects I have going on right now. Let me see if I can adjust that. Is that any better? Maybe a little bit. I don't know. So, I things were going great. I had um, after my batteries charged up, I went back out. I took 2 batteries with me. Oh, that reminds me. I think I left my batteries down there on the totes down by the driveway. I have to go down and get them. Anyway, yeah. So after I did the yard and the fence and around the truck, I figured, okay, I'm on a roll. I'll go down and I'll do the driveway. Well, I knew I was getting low. Um, so I'm not really surprised. I was kind of hoping I'd have enough to do the driveway, but no, my string ran out. So great. So I came back up to the cabin and I thought, well, I think I've got a spool in the drawer in the kitchen. And if it's not there, then it's in the barn. Well, I found the spool in the kitchen. It was empty. So, okay. Well, the thing is that where the spools are that have the string on them, I believe they're in my small blue toolbox, which happens to be under the workbench. I can't talk today. And I have 20 sheets of wallboard leaning up against the that workbench. There is no way I'm getting to that toolbox. It's like, great. Well, one of the things I have to do, it's on the list, is I have to rip down those 4x8 sheets of wallboard. What I was planning on doing is ripping them down to 5 7/8. So why don't you go 6 inches? Because of the curve of the blade. Okay, so it's 5 7/8 inches of that I'm going to be ripping these wall sheets of wallboard down to. Okay, and I should get about 8 sections from each piece of wallboard. And it's like, okay, well, I can start doing that. So what I was thinking is, okay, I gotta store these pieces of wallboard somewhere. So I figured, and I also need to get hay, and it's also where I store my feed. So, okay, what am I gonna do? Okay, what I was gonna do is put a rack, just sections of 2x4 along the wall, screw them in good, and just stack my pieces of wallboard on these short pieces of 2x4. I was hoping that there wouldn't be so much weight that it would cause them to tear down. Well, so I started doing that. Okay, I cut up the 2x4. Okay, I think I got like five pieces out of the. It's a 2x4 that I got from a pallet. Okay, so I got my screws in, and I think, okay, I got this back section, I can put it on. So I screwed the first one in back in the corner on the 4x4 that was in the corner, and doesn't a wasp come out from behind the 4x4 and is like rather upset with me. Gee, I don't know why. So I look behind between the 4x4 and the tarp that's hanging there, and it's like, yep, there's a wasp nest. Okay, not a big deal. I've dealt with wasp nests before. All I do is take a cigarette lighter, not cigarette, the long kind of lighters, that you use for barbecues, and I have several of them around here. I take one of those. I happen to have one in the barn, so okay, no big deal. So I burnt that nest, and it's the wasp just leaves. Okay, they got nothing to protect now, so that was no big deal. Got that first board on. Okay, got a second one on, and then I started to I was putting screws in another board, and I was using my table saw as a workbench. Okay, I pulled it out a little bit because I was going to use a table saw. So I pulled it out a little bit, and I was putting the screws in, and then I was the table saw is right next to where my saddles are. Okay, they're on the racks, and it's like, okay, I'll deal with that. Okay, it's no big deal. Okay, use table saws as a workbench and have at it. Well, apparently, I made a bee rather upset, and all of a sudden, there's this bee flying around me, and it's like just going berserk. And it's like, next thing I know, I feel a sting in a rather private area. Okay. Uh, it got me twice. It's like, what is up with this? Go away. What are you up to? I mean, why? Why? I was like, it's like I hear goats crying outside. Why is it whenever I get on here, I hear goats? They're all quietly sleeping, being nice and quiet, and now all of a sudden, now they're going nuts. They'll deal with it just so long as they didn't go near my saddle. Okay, anyway, so yeah. So come to find out, there was a bee's nest, bumblebee's nest in my saddle. And the bumblebees did not appreciate me using power tools in the barn. Great. It's like, and they were getting nasty. It's like, so it chased me out of the barn. So, and that hurt. I'll tell you. Thankfully, I'm not allergic. But those little buggers, they can sting you multiple times. Okay. And they keep coming back. Well, he got me twice. Okay. The first one blistered a bit, just a little blister. And the second one, I pretty much healed up. It must not have been very much venom in that one, but the first one got me good. And it's like, because I was just chasing it away. And I ran out of the barn. I did manage to go back, close the barn gate. Things quieted down in time for me to feed. Okay. And I just like, no power tools, stay away from the saddle racks, and just kind of like do like I've done for the longest while. I had no idea I had a bee's nest in there. So, I just do my job and totally ignore it. And I didn't threaten them. I wasn't using power tools. I just did my job and left. Okay, it's no big deal until now. So what I did was somebody suggested that I get let me see here. What it was is I looked online. I Googled online about bumblebees. Okay. And their nature is they don't like to be in direct sunlight. Okay. For their nest because then the nest overheats. So they like it cool. Well, it's cool in the barn. Okay. Usually it is anyway. And there was plenty of air circulation there. So I figure, okay, if I can get the saddle outside the barn and have it in the sunlight, I knew it was going to be warm today and it's going to be even warmer the rest of the week. Without destroying my saddle, that was a big thing. I didn't want to destroy my saddle. You know what? It wouldn't be the first time it fell over, what have you. So I got my green rope that I use for securing goats when I have to trim their feet and whatnot. And I kind of like put a loop. Well, first of all, before I did that, I did go in. It's one. I think it was after feeding, and I noticed they were going in by the cinch. I have my cinch up over the saddle. Okay. And I pulled the cinch down. Well, I kind of knocked it down. It's like they were not happy. They did not like it. And they started buzzing all over the place. And it's like I hightailed it out of there. Okay. Okay. I had intended to put this green rope that I have over the horn. Okay. Because I keep a loop on it so I can loop goat horns. So, but this time I was going to loop a saddle horn. And so that was my intention last night. Well, because they kind of went nuts, I had to get the cinch down off the horn. Okay. Because otherwise I couldn't put the rope on the horn. So, so I did that. I got the cinch down. Okay. I said, okay, I will deal with it in the morning. I knew it was going to be cool. Dizzy, my friend Dizzy, she said, it's going to be cool. Deal with it then. It's like, okay, all right. It's like, she wanted me to take pictures. It's like, really? Seriously? I don't know if I want to get that close. So, so this morning, about 5 o'clock this morning, I went out there. I sucked it up, and it's like, okay, everything's quiet. And of course, could I find my AAA batteries? I know I got AAA batteries around here somewhere, and I thought I knew exactly where they were, and they weren't there. It's like, great, it's been moved. So, my headlamp, which has a red light, it kept going out on me. So it's like I try to find the AAAs. I know they're around here somewhere. This is what happens when you don't have a home for anything. So anyway, so you trying to use the red light to see where I have to put my green rope to hook the saddle. Okay. And that was a 5 o'clock moment, trying to not disturb the bees. I think if I had used a white light, it might have disturbed them more. They might have come flying out of there. It's like, no, 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 we don't want to do that. Thankfully, it was cool. It was like I said, it was 49 degrees. It was wonderful temperature. And I got the saddle hooked. Great, wonderful. Tried to move the bales of insulation out of the way. I didn't get them completely out of the way, and I got the rope was long enough. I was outside the barn door, and I hauled it. Okay, and the bees went flying. It's like, thankfully, they didn't connect me with the rope that's attached to the saddle. Okay, and I just drug it out to where I knew it was going to get the sunlight. And I left it. Okay, I left the barn gate open because I could not tell at that point. I could not tell if the nest was still on my saddle or if it had fallen off or what the story was with it. I had no idea what the status was. I was not going to inspect it. Okay, not at that point. So I went back in. I had my coffee, just chilled out for a little while, put some ice on my boo boo, because it's inflamed. Okay, and it's a cross between itching and hurting. Okay, so I know it'll be a couple days and I'll be fine. Okay, it's just getting through this. Um, so So now my saddle is out there in the open air, in the sun, with goats and ducks and chickens and Chucky and Sheba around. And it's like, just please don't let Chucky decide that it's a new play toy because he is rough. Okay. He plays with the wagon if I leave the wagon in there. He plays with the red muck bucket if the red muck bucket is down there. I got to keep these things out of his reach, or he just, with his head butts it. Okay, it's like it's like, please don't do that to my saddle. So anyway, needless to say, I did not go to church this morning because this sensitive area. Let's just say I would not have been able to wear proper attire, okay, for attending church. So, it'll be fine by next weekend, I'll be back to rights. I can get away with a lot more here at home, but yeah, going to church now, it wasn't going to work. So I didn't go this morning, but I did get the saddle flipped around so it was more in the sun. I went in the barn to see if the bees were all out. Well, there were some bees still flying around in the barn. It's like, okay, I think I'm going to have to resort to chemical warfare. I hate to do it, and I really don't want to have to kill the bees. I prefer not to. But I need to be able to work in my barn. I'm sorry. And these bees, they do not listen to reason. So I don't have any choice. I said if that was one bee that went after me, and because the others were out there foraging, I guess. But it's the one that was after me, and it's like, and that one, like, let's just say I'm feeling it. Okay. Um, so what the really weird thing is I love bees. I love bees. I will probably never have bees because they're a lot of work. Okay. But there's certain bee videos that I will watch on YouTube, and I'm just totally fascinated by them. I love bees, and I get so excited when I see the first honeybees in the spring around here. It's like, oh, I just love them. So, but this is different. They thought that I was a threat to their nest, which because they were a threat to me, I was a threat to them. Okay. If they had left me alone, let me do my thing, they would have been able to continue, live out there with their nest this year. And well, no, probably not, because I really, really do want to get Honey saddled up and get working with her again. So I need my saddle. Chi, do you think maybe having a bee's nest in my saddle might indicate that I'm not riding my horse enough? Maybe. So, yeah, and I've got mud dauber nest on the back of my saddle. Yeah, definitely this is not a good thing. So, now that I know that the bees are a threat, I'm definitely going to have to take measures to try to limit their um, accessibility. How I'm going to do that, I'm not sure yet. Like I said, I don't like resorting to chemical warfare. I really don't. Um, but at the same time, I got to be able to have access to my barn. I got to be able to use my power tools. I got to be able to work in there. Uh, I've got I got to get hay pretty soon. It's like, what else am I going to do? I'm sorry I have to do it, but I have to do it. So, needless to say, my wallboard's not done. I didn't get my weed whacking done because I ran out of string, and the strings in the barn. It's like everything was going to work out great. I was going to get these boards done so I could, because with the by ripping the wall boards to 5 7/8, I'll use that, and it'll be a lot easier and quicker for me to be able to um, cover my walls. You know, um, the only thing I got to do right now is going through and repacking my son's belongings and getting them moved into the loft in the barn. Oh, hi, Jean. How you doing? I've already been stocking up on hay. Yeah, I have not done it. Uh, I'm still trying to weigh things cost wise. I've got my one neighbor that gives me a really good deal on round bales. Um, oh, there you go. Okay. Yeah. He gives me a really good deal with round bales. And he's right handy. But I like to have square bales available for the goats. Um, my other neighbor who has started getting eggs from me, he has given me hay, and he has said, "Ain't you need hay? Just let me know and I'll get you hay." So that's appreciated. It's like trading hay for eggs. I think that he's getting, or I'm getting the better end of the deal than he is. But I think he cuts his own hay on his property, and he doesn't have that much livestock anymore. So anyway, so I got these two sources close to home, but I'd like to have at least 50 bales stored in my barn. Um, because come winter, you don't know. I try to keep tabs on the weather and plan accordingly, but you just don't know how bad it's going to be, or how mild, or I mean, there's so many factors come into play weather wise during the winter. Okay. So I like to have that hay stored in the hay. You're right. That hay stored in the barn. So last year I got, how much did I end? I think I got 200 bales. I don't know how much I'm going to need this year because I'm planning on selling about half of my goats. And I won't have Chucky this winter. So that's going to cut back on my hay usage. Um, There are different things I'm considering, but I gotta get rid of the bees in the barn first. Yeah, I didn't get enough pay for last year and ran short. Um, yeah, I don't want that to happen again. Yeah, same here. Um, I knew I could get hay from my neighbor with the round bales. Okay, that was a given. I knew I had that fall back on. So yeah, I kind of figured that's what you meant. Yeah. Um, so knowing that he's got the round bales, he did say that he wasn't cutting as much hay this year, which I understand. But I don't think he's got as much cattle either, and he doesn't use as much hay as I do. I think his pasture is in a little bit better condition. So you know, it's nice to have that to fall back on, and I got to talk to my other neighbor and see how much he's willing to, send my way in the way of hay. Because I just got to plan these things out, and it's been rough. You know, I had asked my regular hay guy how much hay was going to be this year, and he couldn't give me a price at the time, and I haven't contacted him again since. So I just don't know. I have no idea how much the hay is going to be. I figure it's going to be at least $5 a bale, and it may end up being more, because I don't think I'm going to be able to get any from this first cutting. I may not be able to get any till the second or third cutting, if they do a third cutting, and that kind of depends on the weather too. It's been dry. We've had very little rain. Not saying that we haven't had any, but we've had very little, to where I'm getting a little bit concerned about the water for the goats. We do have the large tank by the main barn, and I will be moving the goats to the barn at least for the summer. I'm hoping if I can get that run in finished the way I want it. So hopefully, if I, so long as I don't get any more delays, uh, I can get in there and do that. I got to order some lumber, and I think I need um, a couple more hog panels. Um, I'm going to use boards, but I'm also going to use hog panels because I want it to stay airy. It's been dry here too, and when it has rained, it barely wet the exactly same here, just barely enough to keep the dust down, and it doesn't even do that very well. So there has been rain in the forecast, and I've seen where north of us gets it or south of us gets it, and it just kind of like splits right over us. So hopefully before too long we'll get some. It is still in the forecast. I haven't checked today to see, what days they're saying, but I know that there is some in the forecast, but there's not a lot. So, and it's not like a forecast for a steady rain. It's a forecast for showers, which means, it's the luck of the draw as to who gets the rain and who doesn't. So, we'll just have to wait and see. I'm pretty sure the creek is almost dried up. I could see my creek is the head of my creek is on my property. Okay, so I know when that dries up, then the others are getting low. And if I see the others getting low, then I know that mine is. I haven't been down there for a few days to see just how much water is there. I do get pools of water, so it doesn't completely dry it up. At least it hasn't yet. We usually manage to get enough rain to keep it from completely drying up, but you just don't have as much. So, but at least I know I've had some ducks that have discovered the pond. So I just wish he'd stay up by the pond and not come back here. Um, so anyway, so if I can resolve this bee issue, then I can get some work done. We've got another, I think tomorrow morning's supposed to be cool. So I want to get those wallboards ripped while it's cool and get them stacked up and ready to go. So as soon as I can, I'll have them ready and I can start taking care of the walls, because I need to insulate. I've got 3 bales of insulation in the barn, and I can't stock up hay until I get that insulation out. I can't use the insulation until I get my son's stuff repackaged because he honestly he didn't do a very good job of packing his stuff. So and you must have ducked out because it's gone. Oh well. Um yeah, I have a feeling that it's internet issues today. Yeah, so I have to repack a lot of my son's things. So the things that he's packed decent, I just got to make sure they're taped up well, and they're going to go into the barn, up in the loft. I'm making sure they're in an area of the loft where they're not going to uh, be at risk of water damage. But once I get his stuff moved out, then I can rearrange some things and work on that end of the cabin. I have to re-insulate some of the walls because the insulation got torn up. And then I'm going to actually put the wallboard up. I've got paint to paint that, and the floor is going to be painted. I have a gallon of dark brown paint. It's floor paint. As much as I would love to have really nice flooring, you know, right now things are crazy. It's expensive, and it's a question as to whether or not it would even be available. So you know what? Bare floors, and I'll just paint the floor brown and pick up a couple of carpets. Actually, I was eyeing a carpet at the dollar store to put down on that floor. And that's just what it's going to be. It's just a throw rug. You do what you got to do, right? So if I can get the insulation done and the wallboard up, I got 20 sheets. It should be enough to do that end of the cabin. And anything that's left, I can finish the other side, the side wall here. And anything that's left over from doing the downstairs, I'll use it upstairs. Okay. I do have still some of this plywood here for doing the walls up here if I need to. We'll just see how things work out. I'll use the wallboard up first, downstairs first, then I'll move upstairs, see how much I got as to how I'll use it. Okay, so it looks nice. And go from there. The only thing I have to do is the ceiling is the ripped 2x4s or any 2x material, actually. I've got I bought an extra 2x, I'm thinking it's a 2x8. It could be a 2x10, but I think it is a 2x8 that I was going to rip down, which ended up being cheaper than buying the 2x4s. Okay, and I'll have less waste. So I'm going to be doing that. I got to rip that down for this, so that my ceiling is uniform. I mean, yeah, I know this is El Cheapo and it's not the best looking, but I'm trying to be uniform at least. I mean, it is cheap, at least it used to be cheap. Okay, this kind of ceiling, it's not cheap anymore. So, but that's the plan at this point. I would have been further along if it hadn't been for the bee attack. And my husband picked up some spray this morning after church. He went to the dollar store and got some. And I'll be dealing with that this afternoon probably. And then tomorrow morning, I can start ripping down those boards. I already everything was ready. I would have had probably most of them done by now if it hadn't been for the bees. So, what are you going to do? Anyway, so that's about it. We seem to be having some internet issues, so I'm probably going to cut this short. That's my exciting news. Here, when I made that recording this yesterday morning and I posted it, and it's like, getting the weed whacking done, things are looking nice. I was going to get this done, moving, making some real progress, Nope. What can I say? Oh, well, moving on. Hopefully the next video I post, there will be progress in spite of bees. So Anyway, this is Mother Many Horses with Honey Hollow Homestead. Take care, everybody. Enjoy this cool weather while we have it. We got another round of hot stuff coming. That reminds me, I got to put the other air conditioner in downstairs because I think we're going to need it. I've got an air conditioner up here, and it's supposed to be even hotter this coming week than it was last week. So, yeah, and my husband got sick this week, and I think it's heat related. So, yeah, I got to put the air conditioner in. So, alrighty, I will talk to y'all later. Have a good one. Where's it at? There it is.